Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have our players and vetoes have concluded, and we shouldn't see no real surprise here, to be honest. Serral vetoes Equilibrium, Reynor vetoes Radisson Station, and welcome back, everyone, to the upper bracket finals of Mass Coliseum 7, the third day of the playoffs. Here we go. And again, we are here to determine who makes it to the grand finals between these two amazing Zerg players in this best of 7. Again, only one veto each here, and the most standard of vetoes, both Equilibrium and Radisson Station, are some of the more unorthodox maps in the map pool. The two most vetoed maps in the map pool, and we do get rid of them, and we'll be indulging in everything else. Oh boy, here we go. We're diving into game number 1, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Serral for Basilisk. And in the bottom left, we have going for a 15-15, because of course he is. It is Reynor for Basilisk as well. It is a Basilisk team kill. Let's go. And again, just to reiterate, Reynor has been very fond of the 15-15. Has been going for it in every single matchup against Terran, against Protoss, against Zerg. He loves it. He loves it, Bobby. It's again a very stylistic choice here from Reynor, but it does mean something different in every matchup. Big shout out to the sponsors, of course, to Doyu, Honkai Serral, Bio Bio, Orderful, and all the others. Going to be a standard hatch gas pool here out of Serral as we load into Alcyone. Again, a much larger map. One of the largest maps in the map pool does lead to a lot of longer macro play. And before I get ahead of myself, predictions, Gamba in the chat. If you want to get your Gamba on, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think takes this series, who you think takes this best of 7. Best of luck. Best of luck, man. Now, when it comes to the 15-15 here in ZvZ, this can lead into 2-base Roach. It can lead into Roach play because your gases are so delayed. We'll see how long Reynor delays his gases as he is now going to be taking them. So he's going to have a disadvantage when it comes to link speed timing, when it comes to the Bailey Nest as well. So again, that's why this typically leads into 2-base Roach. But on a map as large as Alcyone, we'll see. We'll see if we do cut some corners and play 2-base, or if we do just catch up when it comes to those upgrades. Yeah, and this again, Serral just going for a standard opener himself. Gonna be moving on out. When it comes to Alcyone, there are a lot of bases to be taken. There's the goal base as well over on the right-hand side that we can rush into. We have seen some Zerg players take the goal base in ZvZ as the natural or even the third, but we can see that here the openers are relatively standard and we're not going for any kind of crazy gold shenanigans. Not yet, at least. Not in this series. That's a big reason as to why Equilibrium was vetoed as well. That gold can really make things chaotic, and we want to get rid of it. Want to make sure that the gold isn't going to be a factor in a lot of these games. Speaking of Serral now taking his third, Reynor should soon be taking his as well. As we see, Reynor, he's still just working on his gases. Link speed already halfway down for Serral, still on the way for Reynor, which is why usually we would play 2-base, and there it is! We are playing 2-base Roach, which is typically where this opener takes us from the side of Reynor, just because of how late the gases are. So we're going to be walling off on 2 bases with the Evo Chamber, with the Roach Warren as well. Serral has identified this. He has the base advantage, so Serral has more gas income, he has the faster third base, and is now getting ready to wall off as well. Now, Serral is skipping his Bailey Nest because he believes that his opponent is doing the same. And he believes that Reynor is also not getting link speed, and he's correct. Serral doesn't need the Bailey Nest, so he skips it, and he won't be punished for it. This is where mind games come in, and there are some Zerg players that open up the way that Reynor has, and they still go for link speed, and they go for a link flood, hoping to catch the defending Zerg player off guard because they skipped their Bailey Nest. That is not the case this time. This time it's just straight up 2-base Roach out of Reynor. Meanwhile, we can see Serral, setting up for +1 Carapace. Okay, so +1 Carapace typically leads into a Roach Ling aggression, like almost an all-in from the side of Serral, where you can just amass an amount of Roaches and Lings and be hyper-aggressive with it. It's very strong timing. Very strong timing with +1 Carapace. +1 range is for a bit of a longer game. Reynor, he's setting up for eventually +2 range, building up a Roach army. So Serral is planning on being the aggressor, and you can see that reflected in the drones. Serral, he has not made a worker in quite some time. He's amassing Lings and Roaches right now. Cutting workers at 38, third base now on the way for Reynor. Looks like Serral was expecting a push, and if Reynor does push, he's going to get shut down. Reynor, he's going to get completely shut down if he moves out across the map. So I do worry for him. Roaches are building up. Serral does confirm. Does confirm the Roach army. Still no drones. And this is what we spoke about at the start of the game. Remember, at the start of the series, I was talking about how Serral has been really working on being the aggressor in ZvZ. How he used to be all about macro, and nowadays, he does go all in. This is a good example. Serral is all in. He's all in here, flooding across the map with Roaches and Lings. Lings, they avoid the main attack path. And with the long way around, third base is going to be avoided. We're going straight for the natural. And we're looking to bust down this wall. +1 range will finish. But what about everything else? As for now, we are going to be forcing the army back. Serral moving out, still very committed. And so far, really good positioning here from Reynor. He does fully wall off. And he is wedged in between his mineral lines, in between his mineral patches. And Serral, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor. Reynor, he has a better economy, he's building up more roaches, has good SimCity. Serral's in a bit of trouble here, like he needs to go sooner rather than later. He's waiting for his Ravagers. He's waiting for his Ravagers and will soon collapse on this base. He should get a kill on at least a third, but he needs more than just a third. As here we go, he does push on forward. Bile's going to be connecting. They do crash into the Roaches, big connections, we get a surround! And likewise, the Roach army, there's no way out here for Reynor. The Biles, they will connect. And Serral, he will clean this up. He will clean this up completely. Soloing up the Roaches, shuts down the third base. He butts into the natural as well. SimCity was not good enough. And Serral, he does snowball out of control. He will be starting this game off, this series off, with a win. GG, Serral takes game number 1. GG, well played. Again, Serral being very decisive here, going for a big 2-base all-in, cutting workers at 38. And I love that he actually sent his Lings around the edge of the map, hiding them from Reynor. Reynor, despite having a really good position early on, he exposed himself. He did expose himself when he decided to move his Roaches towards that third base. I don't think Reynor realized how all-in Serral really was, as Reynor technically could afford to just give up his third base and defend on 2 bases. He risked it, he decided to move out, got caught with his pants down. GG. GG, well played. A solid game there out of Serral. Reynor, again, just wasn't fully aware of how committed and how aggressive Serral was, how all in he was. And with that, Serral takes a 1-0 lead, but it's a best of 7. It is a best of 7, plenty more games to come, plenty of opportunities for Reynor to come back. Plenty of opportunities. And again, this is how Serral has been beating Solar recently. Like, if you've been watching Serral versus Solar, their rematches, Serral has been the one in the driver's seat. He has been the one dictating the pace of the game. And likewise, doing the same here against Reynor as well. So mirror matchups can be really difficult because of that. Both players have kind of like the same tools to work with, but like that's why the builds are so important here. The builds, the scouting, the droning. There's a lot of mind games that kind of come into mirror matchups, and here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner. We have Serral for Basilisk. And in the bottom left, 15-15, once again, it is Reynor for Basilisk as well. Here we go. So again, shouldn't be a surprise. It's going to be another 15-15 opener from Reynor. Now, as we mentioned in the last game, this doesn't have to lead into Roaches. This typically leads into 2-base Roach, but we have seen Reynor open up in such a manner, prioritize gases, and still get into Lings behind this, into Ling main. So this more naturally leads into 2-base Roach play, but again, you don't have to go into 2-base Roach. I wouldn't be opposed to Reynor rushing into Ling speed, faking out 2-base Roach, and Ling flooding. Like, that's definitely on the cards and on the table for Reynor. At some point in this series. Even if he doesn't do it this game, you know, later on down the line, he can whip it out. It's a really good way to play with the series as well. Like, if you open up 15-15, like 3 games in a row, and you open up 2-base Roach 3 games in a row, it's game 4 where you like can catch them off guard with the Ling flood. So again, that can be where the mind games kick in. for now. Nothing too major is going on. I believe the gas geyser is a little bit faster this game from Reynor. So I imagine he will be going into Link speed this time. We'll see. Serral's just droning. Overlords are moving out, getting an eye on each other, getting a read on what the other is up to. As Serral should be investing into that Link speed. Like that +1 carapace timing as well from Serral last game is another really good way to make use of all those speedlings. Because your army mainly does consist of speedlings, just with some Roach Ravager to support. It's a good way to make use of kind of the tools that he had at his disposal. Based on that rally, it looks like 2 base Roach once again. As Reynor is going to be maneuvering his drones over and is going to be starting up his wall. At least it did look to be the case. I think it was just the Queen moving though. We're going to be pushing away that Overlord. Serral should soon be working on his 3rd base. And we'll see what direction Reynor does take us in. First Overlord does go down. Good pick up here from Reynor. Does supply block Serral. Ooh, quite a supply block. There's that Evo chamber that we spoke about, and Reynor does skip Link speed again for the 2nd game in a row. So for the 2nd game in a row, Reynor is opening up with 2 base Roach. Now from here, technically he could go into a faster lair and go into 2 base Muta. Speaking of 2 base Muta, Serral, he himself opens up with a very fast lair, and he himself skips Link speed. So this is a really good way to kind of take advantage of the situation and to kind of meet your opponent where they're at. Oh my god. As Reynor's going for carapace. Okay, Reynor going to be mixing it up here. We have a bit of a role reversal. So Reynor investing in carapace instead, which will benefit his Lings. I wonder if we're going to be getting later Link speed here. Yep, there it is. Link speed is on the way. So basically, this is very similar to Serral's playstyle in Game 1. +1 carapace, as we saw, leads into a Ling Roach all in. Or a Ling Roach time. Mainly all in. But you can, you know, expand out of it and drone out of it. But it's like +1 carapace benefits your Lings so much. They take extra hits to go down when you're up against Roaches. They're more tanky. So are your Roaches as well. So this is going to be a very committed attack from Reynor with mass Ling and with some Roach Ravager to support it. Meanwhile, Serral is opening up 2 base Roach. So very similar to the previous game, but the roles have been reversed. And this, because of Reynor's opener, is going to be a surprise. This is designed to catch Serral off guard, because the last thing he would expect is a Ling flood. When you open up 2 base Roach, you expect Roaches. Meanwhile, big Overseer scouts. Serral, he needs to get a read on Link speed. If he sees the spawning pool researching, he will realize what's going on, and he will be able to prepare. Dips in, gets eyes on the lair at least. On the later lair timing. But I don't think that's going to be quite enough. Yeah, we don't see the spawning pool, we don't see the Lings in between the bases. As we just amassing more and more Lings. Roaches on the way as well. Reynor getting ready for his push, and he does pull the trigger. Moving out a little bit ahead of time. Serral now aware. Good positioning here on the ramp. Very good positioning here by Serral. As Reynor does rotate around towards the 3rd base, trying to get us around. But he will be forced back. So far, good positioning, good defense here. I'm waiting for the droning, because so far, no one has droned. Both players have cut workers at 44. Serral is the first to make workers. This is dangerous. 4 workers is okay. If he makes any more, then he could be caught off guard, because Reynor is all in. The more drones we make, the more danger we're going to be in here. As Serral, he makes 1 extra drone. We have +2 range on the way. Overlords were forced back earlier. Reynor is committed. Gets another Overlord. Serral again in a bit of trouble here. He does have the defender's advantage. He's ahead in the economy. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for Serral, but he is supply blocked. Another Overlord goes down. Well, the reinforcing Overlords are late. We can see Reynor getting ready for a surround. He has Lings from behind. They're going to be threatening the army. Reynor pushing in from the left-hand side. Lings, they collapse. Yeah, they come in from behind. They lock down the army. The Biles, they will connect. They connect with the Queens. They connect with the Roach Ravager as well. big connections. But with these reinforcements, Serral, he works his way through the Lings. Lings are slowly falling. He's getting some of the Ravagers. Ravagers are going down. Big pickoffs here. Big losses for Reynor. Another Roach does fall. And Reynor, he needed to get more damage done. He needed to end the game here and now, and he doesn't. He's forced back. And Serral still has the better droning, the better economy. Still has the better worker count. And he's working on +2. +2 range is about to finish for the next fight. Reynor, he backs off and he's still all in. He still refuses to make any more workers. Reynor, he's still all in. At least he retained some of the Ravagers. He did retain that Ravager count at least a little bit. He's rebuilding. Working on the second attack. And again, if he locks down the army, if he connects with those biles, he can still kill Serral. It's still very close. Ooh. Biles, they connect with the eggs. Lings from behind, they try to dive into the natural. They will! They do bust in. Lings into the main base. Queen gonna get surrounded. Chaos is ensuing. Drones are going down. A lot of economic damage here. And we're going for the base. We're going for the main. Serral, can he hold on? It looks like he should. He should barely be able to hold on. Should clean up those Lings. But once again, we get into the natural for a second time. Serral out of position. The wall was not a wall. And Reynor finally is finding the damage that he's been looking for. Now, what's dangerous, though, is that Reynor, he's trading out Lings, and Serral has a massive army. And here we go. He's triggering a counterattack. Now, suddenly, Serral is all in. He lost 10 workers. His economy has been crippled. Reynor has been droning. And now Reynor's in trouble. As Serral, he gives up on his third base. He's focusing on his push. He has +2. Does have +2, but he's on a timer. The Biles, oh, they do miss. They do not connect. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. And good kiting so far from Serral. Killing so many workers. He's getting on top of the army as well. It looks like he has enough. The Lings, they come back, but there's only a handful of Lings, and this counterattack is too much. GG gets called. Serral, he's able to pop off with his counterattack with the counter all in. And Serral takes game number 2. GG. GG, well played. Serral getting away with squeezing out a couple of extra workers there amidst the all-in. Was able to squeeze out with a better economy, build up a larger roach count. And that first failed attack was the moment that, again, the writing was kind of on the wall. Reynor, he did achieve quite a lot with his Ling run-by when he was able to slip into the main and the natural. He did kill a lot of workers, but remember, he was trading out his army, and he wasn't rebuilding it. He was droning. He was working on a lair, he was working on +1 range, and he was droning up. He droned up to 51. All things that he just could not get away with because he forced the all-in out of Serral, and Reynor just wasn't ready for it. So far, really good decision-making from Serral. Despite losing so much, he knew that it was go time. He knew that he only had one chance to win that game. That was to attack. He did pull it off. So a good start here from Serral. Meanwhile, I do appreciate that Reynor did mix it up, and I did really like the build overall from Reynor here in game number 2. It was a really good way to, again, play with the series and play with expectations. I do think that he pulled the trigger a little bit too soon when he moved out with his Lings. I do think he could have had a slower approach, and he could have revealed them a little bit later. He did give Serral a lot of foresight, or a bit of a heads up, to be ready for that all-in. Serral was able to prepare just in time. And here we go, in the top left-hand corner, we have Serral for Basilisk. And in the bottom right, we have Reynor, also for Basilisk. Let's go. Ooh, for the first time this series, no extractor trick. For the first time this series, Reynor is going for a hatch gas pool standard opener. Let's go. Now, a big reason for this is the map. Going for a greedy or like a 15-15 on a map like Golden Aura feels a little bit risky here. I don't think there's much of a reason to play safe in such a manner, and in a way, we're going to be able to get into our hatch first for both players. Standard opener this time. Reynor, he's had enough of the 15-15. And again, I appreciate it as well. I do think that in ZvZ it's a little bit predictable, just because 2-base Roach is like 80% of the time the follow-up, and you're telegraphing your build so much to your opponent. And Serral, he knows what he can get away with. He can take advantage of you as a result. He knows he can be droning and be greedy. Now with this hatch gas pool, something that we've been avoiding this entire series is Ling Bane, and that's what we're going to be getting into. Ling Bane aggression should be upon us here from both players. Like, these first two games have been all about the Roaches and the Ravagers. Here in Game 3, it's going to be about the Ling Bane, as neither player can skip it now. Neither player has the option. If you do, you can die. Can be the death of you in a ZvZ in this kind of situation. Overlord's going to be moving out. He's scouting the opposing player. Going to be confirming the hatch first. It's important here for Serral to confirm this, just because Reynor has been going for 15-15s every game so far. And now that he's deviated, that much more important for Serral to recognize that. Here we go. We are just going to be joining on up. Link speed is on the way. Same time for both players. And we should be seeing Bailey Nest thereafter, alongside a third base. Speaking of, third base on the way. Fastest third base here for Reynor the entire series. Let's go. Yo, you can tell he's listening to his rap. He's rapping, but he's getting in the zone. Let's go. The Italian rap is blaring. Third base being taken. Bailey Nest on the way for both players. And again, that Ling Bane aggression that we talked about is soon to be upon us. Gonna come down to the control, and to how hard our players commit to it. How many lings will we make? How much will we commit? As here we go, Reynor making a wave of 10 lings. 10 lings on the way. We'll see if we commit a little bit harder. As Reynor is a little bit supply blocked. That Overlord is late here for Reynor. So won't be able to reinforce. Bailey's going to be on the way. He may have to take a more defensive position instead. As we can see, Serral working up towards his Roach Warren. Bailey on the way. Serral already working on the next step. Reynor is moving out. Very aggressive warp in. Morph in there for that Bailing. And he will get on top of that base. But again, Serral, he's here to force us back. As long as we control well, we shouldn't lose anything. Shouldn't lose our Bailings. Not prematurely. Reynor going to be rotating around towards that third. So far, Serral keeping up. Roaches are in production. And we are just backing off here. The Ling Bane aggression has subsided. Again, if Reynor didn't get supply blocked, then maybe he would have committed a little bit more. But instead, we're just going to be backing off and getting into Roach versus Roach. Ling Bane has ended. And we are just going to be joining up, saturating our 3 bases. Again, this 3-base setup is very well fortified on Golden Ore. It's very difficult to break, even with Roaches, even with Roach armies. The 4th base is a little bit more exposed, and you can like pull your opponent apart. As we can see, Reynor, he's showing his army, he's moving out, but he's droning behind this. So he's trying to force an overreaction out of Serral. This is a big part of ZvZ, is revealing your army. Because everyone has overlords everywhere, you can use vision against your opponent. We have lings coming from the right-hand side. They do slip in, and they're going to surround on the queen. The queen will survive. Lings, they get into the main base as well. 2 drones go down. 2 workers do fall, so good trade here from Reynor. Like, lings, they get outscaled here, so getting some drone kills is a very nice moment for him. And he backs off with his roaches, because again, he was droning up this entire time. Meanwhile, Serral likewise keeping up with his worker count. Layers are finishing up. Roach speed is on the way. Ooh, Reynor skipping Roach speed, going straight for a Spire. Bold move. The Bailings! Oh no! Oh my god, they slipped into the main base. 5 workers go down. Good connections here from Serral, and just like that, Serral takes a massive economic lead. And he's not done. We have Dropper Lords on the way. Overlord speed as well. Bane drop soon to be upon us. Now, what's very important here, not the bailing drops, but they're scouting. I mean, we can get some economic damage done, but if they get into the natural, then we will get eyes on the Spire. So far, Serral's in the dark. So far, he doesn't know of the Spire play. Oh, as I say that, safety Hydrogen being thrown down here for Serral. Papi. I mean, as we're confirming here, he hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen the Spire, but if you were here for his series against Solar, a couple of days ago, or last week, oh, was he cancelled? Never mind. I was about to say that very often, Serral, he does go for safety Hydrodens, and there it is. Yeah, the Hydrogen repositioned in the main base, a much safer position, but he kept going Hydras against Solar, and just to have the tech, just so he can be ready for mutas. And even if there wasn't a Spire, even if there wasn't mutas, he just wouldn't make any Hydras, but he would always have it. It was really cool to see. Really cool to see that style against Solar, and Overseer comes in. We confirm the Spire. We know we need those Hydras. Mutas are on the way, so will those Hydras. They're going to be on the way as well. So again, really good scouting here out of Serral. Really good preparation with that tech. Overlord's going to be coming in. And so far, all the bailings! The drones are going to be pulled away, at least at the third base. We crash into the gas geysers. 3 workers go down. At the same time, ooh, the drop lord into the main didn't go in. There was a moment, there was an opportunity there, definitely. Did not go in. Mutas have been revealed. Hydras are in production. Looks like Serral just waiting for a more opportune moment for that dropper lord. Mutas, they get some damage done. 3 drones. 3 drones do go down. Not bad. Not bad at all. Slings do slip in. Dropper lord's still in position. We have Tunneling Claw Roaches on the way here for Reynor. Let's go. Oh, for both players, actually. Burrow on the way. Hydras, of course, in the mix. Now, we have to be careful not to make too many Hydras. There's only going to be a handful of Hydras here. We're still hyper-fixated on Roach Ravager production, as Hydras are only necessary to deal with those mutas. And we have done with the mutas. Oh, right, it was Roaches, not Bailing. Makes sense. Roach drop into the main base. We pick off a queen, we pick off a couple of drones. Not bad. Dealing a blow to the economy here of Reynor. Reynor going to be moving out. Serral taking up towards Lurkers. I mean, he has the Hydra tech, so why not take up into Lurkers? That is going to be ideal. We're still focused on Roach production. So far, we're keeping up. We do force back the army. So far, Serral, he does keep up. Mutas once again coming in from left-hand side. Hive on the way. Serral, he will soon have the superior army. Like, the ideal late game is Hydra Lurker Viper. And we're getting there. Now, again, we have to be careful to get into it too soon. If we incorporate too many Hydras and not enough Roaches, then we will die. So we do have to be careful. Speaking of, Roach is going to be engaging. Serral being forced back. Ooh, we do force a cancel here on that hatchery. But a good concave here from Serral. He collapses from multiple angles, does force back the army. Spiles will connect. You can see Serral now mixing in a couple of extra Hydras. Lurker Den is done. Lurkers should soon be on the way. At the same time, Reynor also taking in that direction. He is one step behind in terms of that tech, but he's on the way. Is on the way. Good splits here out of Serral. He has detection everywhere. Forces back the army. Hive is done. No lurker upgrades yet. That's really what I'm waiting for. +3 range. Will we catch all the mutas? Good catch there from Serral. Getting all the mutas. Ooh, where's the detection? Detection not quite here. Ay, ay, ay. Serral getting caught out. His army a little bit split up here. These Hydras so vulnerable. Protection, it has arrived. There it is. Finally, Groove Spine's on the way. Lurker range. I do think those upgrades were a little bit delayed though. Yeah, you can see this. Reynor, he's caught up. He's now caught up with the lurker upgrades. They are keeping up with each other. Viper's now in production. Nida Swarm on the way. Here we go. We are pushing in at the same time. Serral going for a big counterattack. And with reinforcements, Serral, he should be able to hold on. Yeah, he collapses on this army, forces it back. Fifth base goes down. And Serral, he can keep pushing in between the bases. Going for the upgrades. Denies +3. Denies +3 carapace. Just forcing back the army. And here it is. Serral now embracing the lunkers. Now, throughout all of this, Reynor has had map control. He did double expand. He just lost his 5th, but he has a backup 5th on the way. He has the gold on the way. So Reynor has a booming economy. You can see that reflected in the supplies. So Reynor has a better economy. Serral will soon have the better army with all these lurkers. Not just the lurkers, but also the Vipers. Vipers on the way. Reynor now taking more of a defensive stance. Oh, we don't have adaptive talons. But Serral gets in with a run by. He slips into the main and the natural. Queens are going down. Drones as well. We catch some of the Hydras. Very efficient trades here from Serral. Likewise, Reynor rotating over towards the top. One lurker denies mining at the gold. Very nicely done. And that economic advantage that Reynor once had, not there anymore. As he falls behind in workers and he's not able to make use of that gold. Serral is pulling Reynor apart. Reynor going to be committed here towards the top right, but Serral's in position. And lurkers are pushing forward. Now, I don't think Serral actually has enough to defend that northern base, but reinforcements are available. Big spine shots going off. Yeah, Serral, he's holding. He does hold. 15 drones go down. Ooh, Numerous has carapace on the way on that hatchery that's almost gone. On the way at the gold. And it looks like it does finish in time. Just before it goes down. Yeah, Serral, he just catches the Roach army. We'll shut it down towards the north as well. Now, to be fair, Reynor has gone into his own lurkers. But he's getting caught out. One lurker goes down. Big yoink as well. And this is where Vipers, they reign supreme. Lurkers are good, but they do get yoinked. One after the other. And we still have more yoinks available. Still have more abductions. As we shut down the 4th. And Reynor just losing base after base. He's burned through his bank. He doesn't have a bank any longer. Going for a counterattack, but Serral, he does have an army back at home just to defend. Oh, the misclick! No, Reynor! No, he's killing his own base! Oh my god! A little bit flustered. Making some big mistakes here, but again, he's already on the back foot. Big yoink goes off, another lurker goes down. Again, physically, mentally, Reynor, he's struggling here against Serral. It is becoming a bit much. Reynor going for his own counterattack at the 5th base of Serral. He's got side defense. Rotates over with his defensive army. And I just love that this entire time Serral has had just a marauding force to keep up with these counterattacks back at home. And he cleans it up. And Reynor, he's down to 4 bases, and that 4th base is low because of earlier. GG gets called. The writing is on the wall, and Serral, he takes a 3-0 lead in this series. GG. Papi. GG. A much more straight-up ZvZ this time, where both players went hatch gas pool into their banelings, but Serral was able to out-multitask his opponents with drop lords, with run-bys. Serral was just all over Reynor. Likewise, because of that, Serral was also able to tech up quite heavily as well, very quickly into Hive Tech, into Lurkers, into Vipers. More importantly, those Vipers as well. Even though Reynor was able to catch up, even though Reynor had the better economy, remember, he was up 2 bases, he had the gold, he had a massive bank, but he just wasn't able to trade well against him, and he was pulled apart. He just wasn't able to keep up with the harassment of Serral And again, the Vipers were kind of the nail in the coffin there towards the end. They were able to just have their way with the lurkers of Reynor. Reynor unable to get into his own Vipers. Unable to in the end. Was always one step behind tech-wise. And likewise, Reynor was a bit of a cheeky move to go for the faster Spire. The Mutas, they didn't really do too much. Like, they were scouted, the Spire was scouted, Hydras are already ready. That was another thing that just did not go Reynor's way. And with that, GG. Now, I did not expect a 4-0. If you recall at the start, I was like, we should get a back and forth. We should get, like, at least a game 5, at least a game 6 between these two players. But Serral, he has been dominant so far. He's been very much so in control. Game 1 and Game 2 did come down to the builds, is what I will say. Remember, winding it back, Game 1 and Game 2 were much more aggressive in nature from both Reynor and Serral. They were very aggressive, very all-in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 3 was a more standard game. That was a more standard back and forth. And even in a standard game, Serral, he was favored there as well. Was just a bit too much. And this doesn't bode well. This doesn't bode well for Reynor. He's tried to rush into Mutas. He's tried to go for these Ling Roach all-ins. He's tried to be the defending player. Remember, it was Game 1 that Serral went all in. And Reynor has been struggling. Whether he's on the offensive or defensive, Serral seems to be one step ahead. But we'll see if we can come back. This is it. It comes down to Hecate. It comes down to game number 4. One more loss, and Serral advances on to the Grand Finals. Reynor has to fight back here and now. This is it. This is his moment. Oh, the lights are on. We can see, Bobby. We can see. Here we go. Serral's ZvZ seems unbeatable. I mean, kind of. I mean, again, like, Game 1 and Game 2 were not the most standard of games. That's why I brought that up. They were very unorthodox games where, again, we had all-ins from either player. Now, Golden Aura is very unique in a sense that once you win a fight, the rush distance by ground is very short. So you could see that very quickly when Serral started gaining momentum, he started knocking down bases. Like, he was very in the face of Reynor. You have very little time to react. Hecate is different. So as we load into Hecate, it is a very defendable map. You can slow the game down quite a lot. If we were to see late game versus late game, lurker versus lurker, this would be the map for it. Hecate as well as Alcyone, but we're done with Alcyone at this point. Hecate would be a good map to slow the game down. Is that what Reynor wants, though? That's the question. Do we want a long macro late game against Serral? Do we think that that's where we can thrive? Or do we go for a different approach? Hecate wouldn't be a bad map for Mutas. I would say that Mutas are pretty good on Hecate. But as we saw, Serral is just so apt at not just scouting, but we mentioned at the time, Serral has very frequently, recently, we saw it against Solar, where even if Serral doesn't scout you, he throws down a safety Hydrogen anyway. Like this has become something that's a part of the norm for Serral's playstyle in ZvZ, is just a safety Hydrogen, which is inefficient if you don't need it, but he does it anyway. Like, he just prefers to play safe in a standard game. So it's very difficult to make Mutas work against Serral nowadays, just because of this new adaptation of his. And again, it's in a way inefficient, true, but like Serral, he can work with it anyway. He can afford to invest in that direction in these longer standard games. So we'll see. We'll see how Reynor approaches this. It's a very stressful game. It's a very intense moment here for Reynor. He does have to think this through. Does he want to open up aggressively? Does he want to open up defensively? We saw Reynor 12 full dark yesterday. No, sorry, 2 days ago. Reynor did a 12 full dark, and again, like, that series against Dark was also very chaotic. Dark couldn't get into his games. That series ended very quickly. I did see someone bring it up. But here we go. In the bottom left, we have Serral for Basilisk. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have Reynor, his teammate, also for Basilisk. Let's go. But yeah, Reynor, he did previously in this tournament 3-0 Dark, but that was a very short series. Like, Reynor was so hyper aggressive in that series, just very in the face of Dark. Even 12 fooled him to death as well. But we see here, we're droning. We're opening up standard. We are opening up standard here. There's going to be a hatch gas pool, which means Ling Bane aggression is going to be on the table. It is going to be on the table here. And we'll see how we do decide to open up hatch gas pool from both players. No 15-15s, not anymore. Clearly, it just wasn't working for Reynor in the first 2 games, so we've deviated away from that. We'll see. We'll see if we can come back here. We may even just commit to Ling Bane aggression at this point. It may just be the play. I think the scary thing here is that Serral is very comfortable at the moment. He has a 3-0 lead, and as we saw in game 1, Serral is not afraid to go all in. Like, Serral, he's not afraid to just cut workers and be aggressive himself. That's the scary thing about this game right now, is that it isn't just about, like, Reynor deciding how to approach this, but also Serral as well can suddenly, at the flip of a switch, just cut workers and just try to end the game. Be in the face of Reynor. Oh boy. So the pressure is on. Let's go. This one looks like Serral's playing versus AI. Serral not on top of the game these days. I don't think I would agree with that. Again, like Reynor, he did just 3-0 Dark. I feel like just because Reynor's been we kill the Ursadak. No, just because Reynor is down 3-0 doesn't mean that he's been playing poorly. He hasn't been, but a lot of this has come down to a lot of the builds as well. As we mentioned before, like game 3 has been the only one that has been more of a back and forth, where Reynor was pulled apart. The other games, players were much more committed with their openers, with their builds. They were all in. They were cutting workers. So I don't think that comment is applicable to this series. Not yet, at least. As for now, we are easing into this. We do see Serral going to be the one to make a wave of Lings. Let's go. We have 12 Lings in production. Bailey and Ness are finishing up, and Serral is soon to be moving out across the map. Reynor back at home setting up with his Banelings. Again, it's going to come down to the control. We have to keep up with the micro of Serral. Can we? Serral behind this is droning. Just applying some light pressure here. There's a world where he can get some juicy connections. But that's really all that he's looking for. Oh, the trade against the Ling Bane. To apply pressure. Will back off. Doesn't slip into the mineral line. Doesn't get into the natural. Serral does retreat. And now Serral, he's working towards roaches. He's droning. Likewise, so is Reynor. So we're done with the roach. Sorry, we're done with the Ling Bane. We're getting into roach v roach. Roach versus roach is on the way. Nice scout out of Serral. He does confirm the roach warren. Ooh, Serral. Very interesting here. He's actually doubling down on Link production. He wants to kill that third. Oh boy, this is a risky move, by the way, because we do still have defensive Banelings back at home. Reynor has an army. He does see him coming across the map. The Banelings! God. We do get eyes on this so far. Reynor's going to be able to hold. Reynor, he's ahead in workers. So, oh, does take a Baneling to the face. Does outtrade his opponent, though. 2 for 1. And there we go. That's every single Baneling going down for Reynor. Banelings are getting out of control. We're busting into the mineral line. And Serral, he has broken this location. He's killed the queen. Roach is coming out just in time, but we do bust into the mineral line. Not what to kill, though. We get 2 more drones. And we do get cleaned up. 3 workers in total. But this was a good trade for Serral. As the dust settles, Serral, he does have a worker lead. And now we're getting into Roach v Roach. Again, the Ling Bane doesn't matter anymore, so Serral, he got rid of it. And is stabilizing back at home. Now, what I will say is that Serral's Evo Chamber is late. He has a late Evo Chamber because of all those Lings, and that means Reynor is going to be ahead in upgrades. He has +1 range on the way, about to finish up, as Serral is yet to start his own. So, Reynor, he will have better roaches. Overall, the roaches will just be better for Reynor. I'm sure Serral is aware. A way to catch back up is to go into a second Eva chamber very quickly, or we could actually try to go into mutas. That could be an option here for Serral, is to tech up in a different direction, to make up for his worst roaches. We'll see. So now both players are just joining on up. They're going to be saturating. Lairs are on the way. They're about to finish. And once the lair finishes, we can then get a read on if either player wants to tech in a certain direction. Reynor going for +1 carapace. Interesting. There's the Spire, which makes sense. As we just mentioned, the rationale behind the Spire is because +1 range is so late, because the roaches are going to be at a deficit, may as well invest into mutas at this point. Just to force a reaction out of your opponent and to maybe get damage done. So this does make plenty of sense for Serral. Spire is on the way. It's going to be on Reynor to scout. It's going to be on Reynor to get a read on what's happening. Reynor does have Overlord speed on the way. Big upgrade for him. With Overlord speed, he should be able to get a read on what's happening. As the Overseer did dip in, did we scout the Spire? If we did, we would have seen a Hydrogen by now. Spire more than halfway done. There it is, Hydrogen on the way for Reynor. So a good read here from the Red Zerg player. He will be ready for those mutas. He will have anti-air. So as we get into this, I want to give the edge to Reynor. Remember, he's ahead in upgrades. He's already got +2 on the way alongside +1 carbase. He did scout the Spire. He's fully aware. He does have confirmation. Hydras are on the way. Now, Serral also knows he got scouted. He knows he got... He's going into Banelings? He's going into Baneling speed. This tells us that Serral wants to commit to more mutas. He has made 7 already, which is a little bit more than normal. I'm curious if we see another wave. Okay, no. He's going into roaches. But again, bathing speed is an interesting one. He's doubling down on roaches. Mutas, they do catch the Overseer. So bathing speed is typically not researched unless you're committing into mass muta, just because they're the answers to Hydras. So really interesting that Serral is investing in that upgrade. Meanwhile, mutas, they get across the map. Hydras have been spotted. There it is. Banelings are on the way. We're going for some run-bys. Which would be a good way to get back into this and to try to cripple the economy and get ahead against Reynor. Yeah, 24 Oh my god. Jesus. Serral. He's maxing out with Roach Baneling here. Interesting move. I mean, there are a lot of Hydras, so that is, again, the purpose of the Banelings is to run past the army and get on top of the Hydras. This is very committed out of Serral. Very committed. Again, Reynor, he's taking up even further. Serral, he's basically all in. He's going all in with this. Reynor, he's working towards Hive Tech. 2-2. Hydras, soon to be Lurkers. There's that Lurker gen on the way. Reynor, he's getting ready for the late game. Serral, this is it. This is all he has. This is his moment. And he needs to break his opponent here and now. Banelings are rolling in. Oh, they get trapped here. They get stuck on some of these roaches. They will barely get on top of the Hydras. They try to. The roaches, they're breaking on through just barely. The Banelings, they want the Hydras, then they're gonna get them. They barely will connect with the Hydras, and Serral, he busts through the army. He was all in with this. The Hail Mary play. He breaks into the middle line as well, and Serral, he has done it. Crazy puppy to invest into Banelings, to go for a 3-base all in. And he does get 15 worker kills. Does he have enough to keep going though? Serral being forced back. Reynor, he's holding, but he has taken a big blow to his economy. Meanwhile, Serral, behind this, he's making a couple of drones. He's working towards infestation, but towards Hive Tech. And Serral still has the supply lead. He's pushing on the left-hand side. He's getting ready for his push. Reynor trying to keep up. Again, down in supply. Good concave though. Good position. Lurkers coming in. And we do not have detection. Again, if it wasn't for this Lurker, then we could probably just keep on pushing. We may just do that anyway. The Lurker does hold. So clutch, very clutch there from Reynor. Does barely get into the one lurker keeps him alive. Forces back the arm. We have a second lurker on the way. Reynor barely getting to lurker play. This will allow him to stabilize. Lurkers will slow the game down. They will force back Serral, and Serral is now taking up into his own hive tech. So Reynor lives. He is living with these lurkers. And the game will settle from here. Now, Serral has map control, so basically Serral is going to have the better economy. He has had the better economy. He's going to be able to tech up and catch up when it comes to hive tech and lurker tech and upgrades in general. So, on the one hand, yes, Reynor survives, but Serral is catching up when it comes to the quality of his army. Catching up when it comes to lurkers. So, we spoke about it at the start of the game, how Hecate would be an ideal map for lurker versus lurker for late game. I wasn't sure if that's where Reynor wanted to take it. Clearly it is. Well, I mean, that's what he was working towards. And that is where the game is headed. Just because how defendable this map is, it's so difficult to break a defending player. We're going in anyway. We're forcing our way through. We do get one. One lurker goes down, but there's still 3 left. Still 3 left here on the high ground. Now 5. Yeah, with 5, there's no pushing into this. No pushing in. Again, this 4-base setup is so heavily fortified. Reynor, he has maxed out. Now, Serral is in an awkward position. He has to get rid of these roaches. He has to get rid of some of the roaches to make room for Hydra Lurker. Hydra Lurker Viper, essentially. Two Vipers just came out. We're just going to be pushing in. I'm loving the Drop Lords threatening the main. Road shop into the main base. Mutas are still alive as well. We should probably throw those mutas away. Yeah, there we go. They're hurting us more than helping us at this point. Just because we want to free up supply for lurkers. So we dip in between the bases. Again, Serral still one step behind when it comes to the upgrades. The roaches, they do get in. They do slip into the mirror line. Drones are going down. Vipers are amassing. Yeah, from here, both players are going to be maxing out. They still are fighting their armies. That's the thing right now. You can see Reynor, he's moving out with his roaches. And as we mentioned, both players, they want to get rid of most of their roaches. They want to throw them away. I mean, not throw them away. They want to trade them, ideally, as efficiently as possible. And you can see here, as we bleed out roaches, we're going to be replacing them with hydras. See additional hydras on the way for Serral. Nidus on the way here for Reynor. As his hydras do give him some map control, they shut down the overlords. We're just pushing in. Lurker's not quite ready here for Serral. And we have a Nidus Swarm into the main base as well. Reynor trying to pull apart his opponent. And so far he is. He breaks on through. Where's the detection though? The detection was lagging behind, and this main army is going to crumble. We do get on top of the lurkers. Nidus does finish up in the main, but nothing inside it. A couple of lurkers do pop out, but we have Vipers. We have Vipers in position. We're looking for some yoinks. At the same time, Reynor pushing in towards the third. Reynor, he will break the third base, but he's losing lurkers in the main. Expensive losses here for Reynor. As we rotate back over, Vipers are soon to arrive. Reynor pulling Serral apart a little bit. But he's bleeding out a lot of lurkers. Another lurker going to be going down. Nidus is denied. A good Blinding Cloud, though. Very nice Blinding Cloud. The final lurker does fall. There was a lot of chaos there, but overall, yeah, I do want to give the edge to Serral here. Doesn't have a lot of lurkers of his own, to be fair. So we are pushing in. Pushing up the ramp. Big Blinding Cloud. Yeah, the defender's advantage is just too good. Lurkers on the way. Nidus Swarm once again into the main. Oh my god, this Nidus Swarm is being such a nuisance here. And Reynor, he's breaking through. He is breaking through. Does deny lurkers. I mean, Serral, he hasn't been able to make any lurkers at all so far. He needs them. struggling. As Reynor does pull back. The game is going to settle from here, and now both players can settle into their lurker production. Reynor has been bleeding out a lot, but he has the economy to sustain those losses. He's rebuilding them. Serral getting into his first wave of lurkers himself. Upgrades for the most part, I believe, are even. I believe Reynor's on 3-3. I think Serral's on 3-2. I'm not too sure about +3 carapace. I may have missed it. But lurker upgrades are all done. Vipers are amassing. We are getting into lurker viper versus lurker viper. Now pushing out Nidoswarm on the right hand side. May not be pushing towards these spine crawlers. Serral out of position. Serral not where he needs to be. Good spine shots going to be going off on these lurkers, but there's so many. So it's going to be able to hold on to this northern base. Lurkers repositioning. Big blinding cloud, but it's not enough. So he will hold. But in between the bases, Reynor, he's gaining ground. Pushing towards the natural. Gets on top of the melee nest. Oh, Serral going for his own counterattack. So he has his own counterattack across the map as well. He's trying to break into the third base of Reynor. Show it, Pappy, show it. 12 drones go down. And so he is breaking through. He's getting on top of the base. Getting on top of the hatchery. So he's defending. He does lose a lot of workers, but he will hold on to the base. Here come the yoinks. Oh my god, that Nidus. That position is brutal. Every single time. That Overseer, the MVP. So many Nidus swarms into the main base, constantly just dragging Serral out of position. Reynor coming in from multiple angles. Oh, catches some move command, Roach Ravager. Very nice pick off. Serral falling behind in supply. He is in some trouble here. He has bases, but again, specifically because of the Nidus Swarm, Reynor, he's just been all over Serral. A base gonna get picked off. Spine crawlers haven't been rebuilt. Reynor has a solid edge, and yeah, we can see the upgrades here. Serral, he's behind in that carapace. So his army quality is a little bit worse than that of Reynor's. Carapace isn't the most important upgrade, but it does impact the game regardless. It does impact the fight. Now this one going to be shut down. So I'll try to re-establish these southern bases. The game will slow down for a moment here, which will help Serral stabilize. But overall, Reynor has been in the driver's seat. Well, Serral, he does get on top of this base, and this base should go down. Hatchery does fall. Serral gets the hell out of there. Ooh, is going to lose a lurker. Bit of mispathing there from Serral. One lurker goes down. The Vipers are amassing. Big abductions. We trade Vipers for Vipers. Serral, he does come out ahead. Did kill one extra Viper, I think. Base is going to be denied. Serral ignoring the army pushing through. Oh, these lurker spots, the lurker shots. They do connect with the army as we go straight for the natural base, straight for the Nidus. Uh-oh. Serral's going to be losing a mining base. Meanwhile, Serral, he's going for the tech of Reynor. The natural, that's where everything is. The Hydra Den and the lurker den. Ay, ay, ay. Reynor, he has to turn back around. Serral doesn't make his way in. But takes control of the high ground. Yoinks the Vipers. 1, 2, 3 of them go down. And this is brutal to push into. We are pushing in, though. And we do barely get on top of some of these lurkers. Oh my god, but so much damage being dealt. Reynor losing so much. Here come the reinforcements. Serral, he will hold on to this position. He will maintain. He catches reinforcements. And this may just be the kill move. The kill move that Serral was hoping for. At the same time, though, Reynor going for the same thing. Going into the natural. But with significantly less. Only with 3 lurkers. Do we have detection back at home? Hive going to be going down. No more Vipers. No more Vipers for Reynor. Yeah, this is becoming too much. Serral, he's in control of this game. He's down in workers, but he's up in army. He cleans up the harassing force. And he has broken the natural, and he's getting into the main base as well. We have lurkers in so many bases here, and Reynor, he was so close. He wasn't looking bad in this game. We had him more back and forth. He was pulling Serral apart, but the kill move was going right through the center, into the natural, sniping the tech. Bases are falling left and right. Again, if the game goes on longer, then Reynor can stabilize. He has the economy, or he has the workers. But we catch the lurkers. We do catch them out. Serral pushing in between the bases. Still has a supply lead. Doesn't have his entire army here. There's one Viper. We have one Yoink. But you can see Serral, he gets into the mineral line. In the northern base, no mining whatsoever. Drones are falling left and right. A good abduction on one of those lurkers. But I don't believe Reynor has any lurkers left. He's pulling the boys. The Yoink! He wants the Viper, and he will get it. Big pick off. Remember, the Hive is dead. No more Vipers for Reynor. No more Vipers are available. Don't believe he has any more lurkers either. He's pushing in. Trying to force his way in, and it looks like he will not be able to do so. Serral, he holds on to this position. He will take this fight. Overlords, the boys are being pulled as well, trying to break the lurkers, but the lurkers, they hold. And we get into the mineral line as well. Yeah, it's just too much, just barely too much. Good kiting here from Serral, and that economic advantage that Reynor once had, not there anymore. Not anymore here as 44 drones go down. Reynor down to 16 army supply. Does get a lurker. The spines are waddling in. GG gets called. And Serral, amidst all this chaos, and he found a way through. GG, well played. Serral takes down Reynor 4-0. GG. GG, well played. A clean sweep here. Reynor did cause a lot of chaos, and there was a big chance, there was a big opportunity here in this game. Initially, Reynor was almost dead. Remember, Serral went for the 3-base all-in. He went for that big bailing timing, and he barely didn't kill Reynor. He crippled him, though, but Reynor was able to barely get into the lurkers. Remember, there was that one moment where Serral was up like 30 supply, and there was one lurker on top of the ramp, and that was enough to hold. That was enough to force Serral back. Reynor, he stabilized, got up to a maxed out army, rushed into lurkers, and Reynor, he was popping up. He was hitting left and right, Nidus worms all over the place. And Serral was hurting economically. He was in a rough position. He was down in upgrades, but he went for the kill move. That push right through the center towards the natural caught Reynor off guard. It wasn't just that. As he was pushing towards the natural, he also had lurkers in 2 other mineral lines, and he was just pulling Reynor apart in just one swift move. Despite how well Reynor was performing, again, that was just too much for him to handle. GG, well played. Serral advances on to the grand finals. And here in the lower bracket, Reynor gets knocked down. He's waiting for his next opponent, which will be taking place tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a couple of matches. We have Hero versus Solar and Maru versus Dark. 2 best of 7s. Ah, look at it. It's beautiful. A ZVP and a TvZ as well to end the night. Tomorrow is going to be brutal. These are elimination matches. Elimination matches coming up in less than 24 hours to determine who faces off against Reynor in the lower bracket finals. These 4 players are going to be facing off and duking it out. GG, well played. And yeah, really impressive performance here tonight out of Serral. Reynor was doing well for himself. He was keeping up in a sense, especially in that final game, but Serral was just too much to handle, and yeah, looking unstoppable here. And what's really important is that Serral, he's looking in form leading into IEM. IEM Katowice is like 2 weeks away. It's like right around the corner. You want to be in form for that tournament, and Serral is definitely one to keep an eye out for. Meanwhile, bearing in mind, there are still some other big heavy hitters here. Hero, he went to the ace match against Reynor. He barely didn't beat Reynor, We could see a rematch. We could see Hero rise through the ranks. We could see Maru look to get his revenge and also rise through the ranks as well to face off against Reynor and then Serral as well. There's also Dark. There's also Solar, the recent GSL champion. There are a lot of big names still in this tournament, and we won't necessarily see a Reynor versus Serral rematch. We could see a rematch, or we could see something different. So again, if you're interested, tomorrow will be the continuation of Masters Coliseum, followed by the day after and the day after that. 3 days. 3 days left of Masters Coliseum action, right before IM Katowice. Oh, GG. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We do appreciate the support, but we are done for the night. I'm starving. I would like to get some food, Papi. I'd like some food. Hold on. Predictions. We'll pay out the predictions in the chat. Beautiful. But yeah, we are done for the night. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, everyone, for dropping by. We appreciate it. If you want to support us, we're also streaming over on YouTube as well. Over on YouTube. And yeah, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all that stuff. Fun fact, I did stream earlier today over on my own personal channel. If you're interested, you can follow me there. At light_VIP. Fun fact, I streamed for the first time in almost 3 weeks. We've been so busy casting, so busy streaming. Haven't had the opportunity to ladder, and I'll try to in the next couple of days. I enjoy it. We've been busy. We've been busy, Papi. So keep an eye on that if you're interested. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for some more Masters Coliseum. See you then. Hasta luego. Ciao, Papi. Ciao. Hasta luego, Papi. Hasta luego.